All right, y'all, this one's wild. New evidence has surfaced, and people are side-eyeing Jay-Z hard. Allegations are swirling that he's been walking free after allegedly destroying key evidence tied to the LA fires. Is Hav really untouchable, or is there more to the story than meets the eye? The reports coming out are definitely telling us that he might be in trouble. Jay-Z may have played a role in covering up evidence tied to the devastating LA fires that caused massive destruction, displacing families, and leaving an entire region in chaos.
Unclear how many firefighters might be among this crew. What you're seeing there is some recent footage from LAFD, the fire department, their air operations, and some of the recent firefighting efforts there. BC Forest Minister Ravi Parmar, he posted a video on social media yesterday calling the team highly trained.
Now, while nothing is confirmed, the whispers about tampered evidence and destroyed documents have people raising eyebrows. How did Jay-Z's name even get pulled into something this major? And why is it all coming to light now? Sources suggest that some key pieces of evidence connected to the fires have mysteriously gone missing, and somehow Jay-Z's name is being floated in connection to it. Allegations suggest that moves were made to protect certain interests, possibly linked to real estate deals or big business investments. You already know the game. Where there's smoke, there's fire. But in this case, the smoke might just be covering up something much bigger. Jay-Z is no stranger to high-stakes business plays and being at the center of controversy. Whether it's boardroom power moves or industry takeovers, he knows how to keep his hands clean, or at least appear that way. So when people start connecting dots and pointing fingers, you can't help but wonder if there's a deeper story here. This could be another example of the powerful protecting their own. This new evidence could change everything, though. If it turns out there's any truth to these claims, the implications are massive, not just for Jay-Z, but for everyone tied to these fires. Back in January 2025, a series of wildfires tore through the Los Angeles area, leaving chaos in their wake. These weren't just any small fires either. We're talking about massive destruction that left neighborhoods in shambles and over 27 lives lost. It's been labeled as one of the most devastating wildfire events in recent memory. Now let's break it down. The fires kicked off on January 7th, with two major ones making headlines: the Palisades Fire and the Eaton Fire. By mid-January, those fires had destroyed over 14,000 buildings and burned through about 40,000 acres of land. Whole communities in places like Pacific Palisades and Altadena were wiped out, and almost 200,000 people were told to pack up and leave their homes. Here's where it gets wild. Whispers are starting to circulate about Jay-Z's alleged involvement in destroying evidence connected to these fires. People are saying that there might have been some shady business behind the scenes involving tampered documents or missing information, and somehow, Jay-Z's name is floating around in the mix. Now we know Jay-Z doesn't move small. He's all about big deals, big plays, and keeping things airtight. But this situation has folks asking questions. Was he protecting his interests, or is his name being thrown out there for the clout? Either way, the timing is suspicious. Meanwhile, the fires themselves were made worse by crazy weather conditions. Those Santa Ana winds were no joke, pushing flames faster than firefighters could keep up. And with California's drought situation, the dry land was basically a matchbox waiting to light up. Crews from Canada and Mexico even had to come in to help because it was that bad.
Okay, a bit of good news in this story is that California is getting help from international community partners to put out those fires.
You'll join me in thanking these incredible British Columbians, highly trained individuals that are going to be on the front line supporting our neighbors, because when in time of need, the United States was there for us, and now in their time of need, we're going to be there for California wildfire.
But the real story here might not even be the fires. It's the drama bubbling up around who might have benefited from the chaos. If there's anything shady going on behind the scenes, you know people will dig it up. Could Jay-Z's business empire somehow be connected to this? Well, you see, this whole ordeal brings us to Jay-Z's recent legal troubles and a man who goes by the name of Tony Busby. What started as a legal feud is now sparking whispers about hidden agendas, destroyed evidence, and just how far Jay-Z might go to protect himself.
How y'all feel about this Jay-Z Busby shit?
That's an interesting turn of developments.
Yeah. What happened recently? Because I've heard some more stuff about Busby himself. Like, that was the main dude leading the charge against Deshaun.
So here's the gist. Tony Busby has been coming for Jay-Z's Roc Nation, accusing them of some shady moves. According to Busby, Roc Nation's been using what he calls shadowy operatives to mess with his clients. He's saying they're pressuring people to file lawsuits against him to derail his cases, especially ones tied to none other than Diddy. Busby's calling it intimidation, but Jay-Z's not taking this lying down. Now Jay's firing back with a countersuit, claiming that Busby is just out here chasing clout and cash. Jay's team is calling the whole thing extortion and defamation, saying Busby's throwing dirt on his name for his own gain. But let's be real, Jay's moves always feel calculated, so there could be more to his side of the story. Here's where it gets wild. People are starting to connect the dots between this drama and the recent LA fires. Word on the street is that Jay-Z might be trying to clean house and make sure no evidence that could back up Busby's claims ever sees the light of day. Think about it. If Busby has something that could really shake things up, and Jay's trying to make it disappear, that could explain a lot. And don't sleep on Busby. He's known for going after big names, and he doesn't hold back when he thinks someone's crossed a line. If he's got receipts, or thinks he does, you better believe he's going to make them public. But let's not forget, Jay-Z's got the resources to play this game better than most. Destroying evidence, cleaning up loose ends, it wouldn't be the first time a big player in the industry used their power to get ahead. On one hand, you've got this legal showdown between two powerhouses. On the other, you've got whispers of how this could distract from bigger issues, like the fallout from the LA fires. But for the hip-hop audience, this is about the culture, the power plays, and whether Jay-Z can keep his empire untouchable, or if Busby's about to expose something that could take him down a peg. Now, if you think that Jay isn't capable of pulling off tricks of this scale, well, think again. Jay-Z has been caught up in some pretty shady accusations over the years, and it's not just random gossip, it's serious stuff that's been bubbling up, especially with all the recent drama involving Diddy. For starters, people have been throwing shade at Roc Nation for how it treats its artists. The label has been accused of underpaying talent and not giving them the support they need to grow their careers. A lot of folks are saying it's all about chasing profits, not looking out for the artists who are putting in the work. And honestly, when you hear these kinds of stories, it makes you wonder how much of that "we're a family" talk in the music industry is just smoke and mirrors. Then, there's the Kathy White situation. Kathy was a former music industry employee who had some major dirt on Jay. But according to many, she was pressured into staying quiet. And of course, you can't talk about Jay-Z's alleged shady dealings without mentioning Jaguar Wright. She's been out here calling out everyone in the industry, and she hasn't spared Jay-Z or Beyonce.
I spoke on Piers Morgan. I said that I had 3 victims that I've been working with, victims of the Carters, that were ready to come forward. This might help them feel a little more confident now. So this is great.
Jaguar claims they're wrapped up in all kinds of unethical behavior and says she knows other people who've been hurt by them and are ready to talk. Now, she hasn't really provided hard evidence, but her comments have definitely reignited those theories about the Carters being connected to some high-profile tragedies in the music world. The thing is, all these allegations don't just reflect on Jay-Z, they highlight some bigger issues in the music industry. Exploiting artists, a lack of transparency, secret deals behind closed doors. This is stuff people have been whispering about for ages, but now it's all being laid bare. And with so much attention on these cases, it's possible this could lead to some real conversations about accountability and change in the industry. But Beyonce's name has also popped up in connection to the chaos, and not in the way you'd expect. Let's just say, both of them have been trying to handle things in their own way, but there's definitely more to the story than just helping out. First off, Beyonce was supposed to drop some big news on January 14th, 2025, but she decided to push that back because, well, the wildfires were wreaking havoc on Southern California. In her statement, she didn't just mention how bad the situation was, she also gave a shout out to the first responders and made sure to send her prayers to all the families affected. Seems like a thoughtful move, right? But it wasn't just words. Beyonce backed up her concerns with serious financial support. Through her Bay Good Foundation, She pledged a whopping $2.5 million to help families whose homes were destroyed by the fires. This money wasn't just a drop in the bucket either. It was meant to directly help those who lost everything and support the churches and community groups that were doing the heavy lifting on the ground. Places like Altadena and Pacific Palisades were particularly hit hard, so Beyonce and her team made sure they were part of the recovery process. But here's the kicker. This wasn't some faraway disaster for Beyonce. Her own family was hit by the fires too. Her mom, Tina Knowles, revealed that her Malibu home was destroyed in the blaze. Imagine how personal that must have been for Beyonce to watch her own mother go through that loss. It's not just another headline, it's family, and you can tell it hit hard. It's clear that Beyonce and her foundation tried to make an effort to help, but there could be more to this than what meets the eye. Remember Beyonce's IRS troubles that have been going on for a few years back? Well, suddenly, Beyonce's debt has been almost completely removed. Interesting timing.
But Beyonce did get $2.5 million. This is the same amount that she owes the IRS that she's fighting them for right now. And I do want to say, hey, like, I ain't gonna lie, Beyonce she's that witch. I ain't gonna lie. I was gonna say B, but I can't say B word, so we're just gonna say that witch. And technically, she is a witch. But I mean, her money's long, and her mom did end up losing her house. I think it was one of her houses, like her bungalow, that was on the water, if I'm not mistaken. And so I just want to say, in the midst of everything that's going on, now I get it. Beyonce ain't have to do nothing. She ain't have to do a damn thing.
In the end, it's hard to say how much of this is true or how it's all going to play out. But one thing's for sure, Jay-Z's image as this untouchable mogul is definitely taking some hits. Whether it all blows over or leads to something bigger, one thing's clear. People will be watching every single move from here on out.